All right, welcome everyone. This is going to be our review session for control flow and looping. So I've got my Kahoot set up. I just don't have to join. You're not able to join because I did this as a recording, but I will answer the questions. But hopefully you guys can answer in your head ahead of time. All right, got 11 questions for you. What is the purpose of loop in programming? Is that to execute a block of code only once? To repeat a block of code multiple times, to skip certain sections of code, to terminate a program's execution. What is the purpose of a loop? All right, it is to repeat a block of code multiple times. And remember, a block of code is all code that is indented at the same level. All right, next question, number 2. Which statement is used to exit a loop prematurely? Is that break, continue, pass, or exit? Which statement is used to exit a loop prematurely? All right, the break statement. Remember that as soon as a break statement occurs, it goes to the next line of code after the loop section. All right, so break, it exits the loop prematurely and runs the next line of code after the loop statement. Question number 3, what is the purpose of the pass statement in Python? Does that skip the current iteration of a loop and continue to the next iteration? Does that terminate the loop and resume execution from the next line after the loop? Does nothing and acts as a placeholder, breaks out of the loop, and exits the loop entirely? There we go. Yeah, so pass statement is like a no operation. It does absolutely nothing and just is a placeholder for where code needs to be, but you haven't figured out what you want to put there yet. You can use the pass statement. Question number 4. How many times will the following loop iterate? Count equals 0. While count is less than 5, go ahead and increment count by 1. Is that going to execute 0 times, 4 times, infinite times, or 5 times? Less than 5. Count. Okay, so that's going to execute exactly 5 times. It's going to start at 0, and then it's going to execute when count is 0, when count is 1, when count is 2, when count is 3, and when count is 4. Because it starts at 0, we actually iterate over it 5 times, 0 to 4. Question number 5, what is the purpose of the continue statement in Python? Does that skip the remaining code in the loop and exits the loop? Goes to the next iteration of the loop, skipping the remaining loop block of code? Or does it restart the loop from the beginning? Or does it terminate the loop and resume execution? Yeah, so it goes to the next iteration of the loop, skipping any remaining code below that's part of that loop block of code. Question number 6. Which control flow statement is used to execute a block of code when a certain condition is met? Which control flow statement is used to execute a block of code when a certain condition is met? Is that if, for, while, or loop? Which statement? That is the if statement, right? So the if is our control flow that only executes its block of code when the statement evaluates to true. All right, question number 7. How do you create an infinite loop in Python? By using a while loop without an exit condition? By using a for loop without a range or iterable? By using the continue statement in a loop? By using the pass statement in a loop? All right, well, we're going to use a while loop to make an infinite loop, and we do it without having any exit conditions. For instance, we could say while true or while 1 equals 1. Any condition that always evaluates to true will be an infinite loop, and without an exit condition, that could be a problem with your code. All right, question number 8. Which loop is better suited when you know the exact number of iterations? Is that a while loop, a pass loop, a continue loop, or a for loop? One of these is best at doing a defined number of iterations. And that is the for loop. We can iterate over a list of things. We've seen that as an example. We can iterate over a string, and it goes character by character through that string. So when we define the number ahead of time, that's better to use a for loop. We could use a while loop, but it's just not as clean. It takes more code to write it, and it's not as intuitive. So for loops are really good for when we know the exact number of times we're going to iterate over some list. And question number 9. In a for loop, which function is commonly used to iterate over a sequence of numbers? Is that the range method, the enumerate method, the leng method, or the continue method? We're going to do it over a sequence of numbers. That is our range function. And remember, it takes in 3 parameters. It takes in the starting number that you want to start at, then comma, the ending number you want to end at. Remember, it doesn't go to the ending number, it goes 1 minus the ending number. And then the step count. How many numbers do you want to iterate over each loop count? So if I did something like range 0, 100, 1, it's going to go from 0 to 99. If I did 1, 10, 2, it's going to start at 1. Then it's going to go 3, 5, 7, 9. All right, question number 10. What is the purpose of the else statement when it's attached to a loop? It executes when the loop is terminated by a break statement. It executes when the loop condition becomes false. It executes when the loop is restarted. It executes when the loop encounters a continue statement. Yes, so the else statement is executed if the loop goes through its entire process and becomes a false condition on the loop. So either in a for loop or a while loop, once it becomes false, that's when our else statement that's associated with a loop gets executed. So the example I like to talk about here is we did in the last class, we had that list of names, and we said, are we looking for a specific name in there, like Alice? When we found Alice, we break out of that loop. It doesn't execute our else statement. Although if Alice is not in the list, then we can put a message on the screen saying Alice was not found in our list. So it's an easy way to tell if something is contained in a list or not. All right, last question, always the fun one. Question is, I'm starting to see the value and power, or the value, power, and utility of programming, right? Yes, but I'm still lost. The answer, no, programming is just too hard. No, it's too easy, anybody can do it. Or yes, this stuff is awesome. I think you know which answer I'm hoping you all choose. I'm hoping that you're finding this stuff to be fun and you're learning along the way and you're starting to really now see how we can do some important stuff in code that we can automate and make our lives a lot easier by using some of this functionality. All right, that's it for this video. I will see you all for class number 3. Have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.